Space Fishy, rank 12. Did you know she is a she? Well, she is the commander I'm using on the Asashio Premium Tier 6 Japanese Torpedo Boat Destroyer. Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. As you can see, we've got a domination mode match on the Sea of Fortune, and we are in the Asashio with its tramp stamp cheetah print camo in the back there, as you can see. Wonderful scheme. This is a Tier 6 Premium Japanese Destroyer. Originally, it was sort of a reward ship for some event they had in the now distant past. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it might have been that Duck of War April Fool's event. I think this might have been the ship that you could obtain from that, in the same way the Yukikaze was obtainable from the Space Battle April Fool's event just recently. And I will say that the Yukikaze is by far a better ship than this. In fact, I think it's power crept this ship into basically oblivion now that it is part of the game, but the Yukikaze is no longer available since it was a ship that you could only purchase with special currency from that special event. The Asashio, however, came back to the store, available for, I think, 12.5k doubloons for the Golden Week, which I believe ends today, so I think it should still be in the store if you want to pick it up. And since the Yukikaze is no longer available, if you're in the market for a Tier 6 Premium Japanese Destroyer, well, this one will do the trick for you. It does come with the smoke and torpedo reload booster combo, something that I think only the Udachi and the Akizuki also get, so there is that. The torpedoes, though, they do hit hard. They hit for a maximum of, I think, 17.3k. So, they're not anemic or anything, but that's child's play compared to the Yukikaze's torpedoes that hit for 22,000 damage and can go in excess of 80 knots with this Space Fishy build. By comparison, the Asashio's torpedoes go at a rather pedestrian 69 knots on this build. I know, nice, but anyway, this is not perhaps going to be the best showcase of the Asashio in action, but it will be a good showcase of what happens when one team completely cedes map control to the other. As you can see, my team has sort of split up onto both flanks of this map. We've got some ships hanging around Alpha there, and I'm down here at Charlie, along with some other people coming to support me. There was an Atlanta spotted behind that island, so entering this cap is a bit of a risk. I was wary of entering it at first because I knew there was an Atlanta on the enemy team, but now that my cruiser teammate has already entered the cap, I reasoned that if the Atlanta was going to use his radar, he would have already done it, and maybe he knows there's a cruiser in this cap, so he doesn't feel the need to deploy the radar and spot me. Looks like the Scharnhorst is coming this way, so we're going to put torpedoes out that way, and we get spotted by the enemy Akatsuki. Take a look at this shot. Like many other torpedo boat Japanese destroyers, the guns on the Asashio traverse very slowly, reload very slowly, but they do hit quite hard when you can land them on other destroyers. Atlanta's coming around now. We do manage to tag him with a single torpedo there, and I think the rest of our torpedoes are going to miss that Scharnhorst. But we've secured the Charlie cap, and our cruiser teammate is rushing the Scharnhorst, probably not an advisable thing. You can see that most of the enemies on the other side of the map are grayed out. Looks like our destroyer that was over there has died, and so the blue team over on that side has lost spotting. And now it has become my goal to get into the Delta cap, sort of get behind the Reds over there by Alpha and spot them all for my teammates over there. Probably the most valuable thing you can do in a destroyer is provide the eyes for your team. Now, of course, carriers are part of the game, and they can show up destroyers with their ability to spot, but that doesn't mean destroyers still aren't an important winning piece of the puzzle, especially in games where no CVs are present, like this one. Now I'm going to do something controversial by my own standards. I've always advocated never trying to suicide torpedo battleships, and this is exactly why. This Scharnhorst knew to expect me. He's got his guns aimed at me. He's got the HE loaded, and he's launching torpedoes. Those torpedoes are going to miss, but he does take me down to about 1/3 of my health before my torpedoes finally find him and kill him. Now, I've achieved my goal. I've entered the Delta Cap, and it looks like I'm going to be able to flip it without any resistance. But I could have gone around this island here to my right and avoided being spotted by that Scharnhorst and not been reduced to 1/3 of my starting hit points. This reduction in my hit points means it's very dangerous for me to be spotted again. I could potentially be one-shot by any cruiser shooting high explosive at me, or potentially battleships even shooting armor piercing and just hitting me with enough shells and enough overpens to take me out. But it doesn't look like the enemy is interested in protecting this cap. Again, they're all concentrated in this one corner of the map. They've ceded map control to my entire team, and now the teammates that spawned with me on my flank and have come down this way are potentially going to be able to get into a position where they can get crossfires on these enemies out here. I'm thinking about that battleship sailing to the west from Charlie right now. Actually, there are two of them, and you can see he's turning south just a little bit, probably trying to achieve a crossfire, launching some torpedoes into the fray at this Warspite here, accounting for him speeding up and changing course. Don't know whether these torpedoes are going to hit, but you can see right now that we are down by one ship and also down by points. And this is only a temporary thing. Even though the enemy has more points than we do and has more kills than we do, we have much better map control. We hold 3 cap circles. They only hold 1. The onus is now on them to do something about this situation. Otherwise, it's going to quickly spiral out of control for the enemy team. And you can see there briefly, they were ahead by 2 kills. They're now only ahead by 1. And we have just overtaken them on points. So, even though we're at a numerical disadvantage in terms of ships, we are at a great advantage in terms of our initial positioning and in terms of the cap circles that we control. So, many choices are open to us. We can retreat, we can kite away, so can our teammates. The enemy has to come to us. They've got to make something happen. All we have to do is essentially not die, and we've got this game in the bag. This New Orleans out here continues to move forward away from us. Of course, it is exceedingly difficult to torpedo ships that are moving away from you. Much more difficult to torpedo than ships that are coming toward you. So we launch torpedoes at the Warspite, who is also moving away from us, but the Asashio does have a nice range on its torpedoes, particularly if you have Albert Gleaves as one of your inspirations, as I do on this build. I think I've got the torpedoes ranging out to 10.5 kilometers, so they should have enough distance to be able to hit that Warspite out there, and it does look like at least 2 of them, possibly 3, are finally going to connect. And yes, we do get 3 torpedo hits, not quite enough to take down the Warspite, because again, these torpedoes are not the same underwater nuclear missiles that the Yukikaze gets to enjoy. They're more of your standard hard-hitting IJN torpedoes. They still hurt a lot, as that Warspite found out, but, 3 of them don't necessarily have enough explosive power to take down a battleship from full health. Yukikaze might be a different story, but again, no longer available. So, if you enjoy the IJN destroyer playstyle, you like these stealthy torpedo boats, this is a solid one. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And it is available for doubloons. And of course, Tier 6 premium ships are the best in the game in terms of being able to earn credits and GXP and all that. So if you don't even have a Tier 6 premium ship, you're looking to spend some money and you really like the IJN destroyers, then this ship is probably for you, and you probably will enjoy it. Especially since you can deploy this reload booster. I haven't deployed it all game. You can see it drastically decreases the time it takes the torpedoes to reload. And since this Colorado is the only one left, and this has essentially become a guaranteed win, I figured why not use the reload booster and see if we can't hit the Colorado before either one of our teammates kills him or we reach 1,000 points and achieve victory. Again, though, this is what happens when you cede map control to the enemy team. The red team all went to alpha. They should have split up like my team did, and this might have been a more even match if they had, but as it stands, they're going to lose. And this just goes to show that you don't have to do a bunch of damage in a destroyer to emerge victorious. You can simply make the right choices about where to go, where to position yourself, and if you play the caps, more often than not, you're going to be rewarded with victory. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.